Wow. Beautiful quotes. Wisdom is supreme, therefore make a full effort to get wisdom. Esteem her and she will exalt you. Embrace her and she will honor you. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. In order to be walked on, you have to be lying down. Education is the power to think clearly, the power to act well in the world's work, and the power to appreciate life. Motivation is everything. You can do the work for two people, but you can't be two people. Instead, you have to inspire the next guy down the line and get him to inspire his people. The glow of inspiration warms us. It is a holy rapture. The greatest achievement were at first and for the time dreams. The oak sleeps in the acorn. Time is nature's way of keeping everything from happening at once. How could time exist in reality if its past is no longer, its future is not yet, and it is now, is pathless and indivisible? The body is at its best between the age of 30 and 35. The mind is at its best about the age of 49. Everyone wants to be appreciated, and if you appreciate someone, don't keep it a secret. Sandwich every bit of criticism between two layers of praise. What then is time? If no one asks me, I know what it is. If I wish to explain it to him, he asks, I do not know. Music is a mediator between the spiritual and the sensual life. He whose face gives no light shall never become a star. You can't fly a kite unless you go against the wind and have a way to keep it from turning somersaults. The same with man. No man will succeed unless he is ready to face and overcome the difficulties and is prepared to assume responsibilities. If we listen to our intellect, we would have a love affair. We would never have a friendship. We would never go into business because we would be cynical. Well, that's nonsense. We have got to jump off cliffs all the time and build up our wings on the way down. Architecture is inhabited sculptor. A new idea is delicate. It can be filled by the sneer or a yawn. It can be snapped by death or by a cube or and worried to death by a frown on the right man's brow. Having more money does not ensure happiness. People with $10 million are no happier than people with $9 million. Don't wait for moods. You accomplish nothing. If you do that, your mind must know it has got to get down to earth. A hen is just an egg's way of making another egg. Charm is a way of getting the answer yes without having asked any clear question. Kilometers are shorter than miles. Save gas. Take your next trip to the kilometers. Painting from nature is not copying the object, it is realizing one sensation. He who rides a tiger is afraid of to dismount. The difference between fiction and reality, fiction has to make sense. We make a living by what we gain, but we make a life by what we give. The first law of ecology is that everything is related to everything else. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Never trust the man who tells you all his troubles but keeps from you all his joys. Listen to all plucking a feather from every passing goose, but follow no one absolutely. Laws like the spider's web. Catch the flies and let the hawks go free. In the midst of the great joy, do not promise a man anything. In the midst of the great anger, do not answer a man's letter. We need a variety of input and influence and voices. You cannot get all the answers to life and business from one person or from one source. I love criticism just so long as it is unqualified praise. The most wasted of all days is one without laughter. To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. Good art is borrow, great art is steal. Who dares to teach must never cease to learn. Dream if you will live forever, as if you'll live forever, live as if you'll die tomorrow. Today. I am 40 now, and 40 years is a lifetime. It is extremely old age. To go on living after 40 is unseemly, disgusting, and immoral. Who gets on living after 40? Give me a sincere and honest answer, I'll tell you. Rogues and fools. Relationship is like a dance with visible energy racing back and forth between partners. Your relationships are the slow, dark dance of death. Man shapes himself through decisions that shaped his environment. All human wisdom is summed up in two words: wait and hope. But I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. A business account's receivable file is much more important than the account payable file. Restlessness is discontent, and discontent is the first necessity of progress. I think and think for months and years 99 times. The conclusion is false. 100 times is I am right. Great spirits have always found violent opposition from mediocre minds. The latter cannot understand it when a man does not thoughtlessly submit to hereditary prejudices, but honestly and courageously uses intelligence to love often and much, to win the respect of the intelligent people and affection of children, to earn the appreciation of the honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world little better, whether by a healthy child or a garden patch or a redeemed social condition, to know one's life and breathe easier because you have lived. This is the meaning of success. When you cease to dream, you cease to live. We do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. You do what you have to do what you want to do. Life is a series of situations, and the answer is no if you don't ask. Spaceship Earth. The problem of the passengers is that there is no manual to identify all the parts and no instructions on how to operate the spaceship. I was part of this strange race of people aptly described as spending their lives doing things they detest to make money they don't want, to buy the things they don't need, to impress the people they dislike. I was warmed by the sun, rooked by the winds, and sheltered by the trees as other Indian babes. I can go anywhere and with a good feeling. Always you have been told that work is a curse and the labor is misfortune. But I say to you that when you work, you fulfill a part of the earth's furthest dream, assigned to you when that dream was born, and in keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. Complex problems have simply easy to understand wrong answers. The answer is never how to get new innovative thoughts into your mind, but how to get the old ones out. You're your greatest asset. Put your time, effort, and money into the training, grooming, and encouraging the greatest asset. In the pioneer days, they used oxen for heavy pulling, and when one ox couldn't budge a log, they didn't try to grow a larger ox. We shouldn't be trying for bigger computers, but for the systems of computers, more systems of computers. Humans are allergic to change. They love to say we have always done it this way. I try to fight that. That's why I have a clock on my wall that runs counterclockwise. We are flooding people with information. We need to feed it through processor. A human must turn information into intelligence and knowledge. We have tended to forget that no computer will ever ask a new question. We manage things, we lead people, we went overboard on management and forgot our leadership. It might help if we ran an MBA out of Washington. Thoroughly unprepared, we take the step into the afternoon of life. Worse still, we take this step with false presumption that our truths and ideals will serve us as hitherto. But we cannot live the afternoon of life according to the programs of the life morning. For what was great in the morning will be little at evening, and what in the morning was true will at the evening has become a lie. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Things turn out best for the people who take the best out of the way things turn out. I have made it a rule of the life never to regret and never to look back. Regret is an appalling waste of energy. You can't build on it. It's only good for wallowing in. Risk more than others think is safe, care more than others think is wise, dream more than others think is practical, expect more than the other things is possible. Why should I care about posterity? What posterity ever done for me? When we put things off until of some future, when we put off things until some future letter hand, we drag the past into the future. The burden of the yesterdays depletions is a heavy load to carry. Don't carry it. We won't have a society if we destroy the environment. A man paints with his brains and not with his hands. The mind is in its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell and hell of heaven. It is practically impossible to look at a pension and feel angry. Busy, 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 we pass the days of our lives gone all too soon. Gone before we can get to our dream of creative expression, self-fulfillment, nurturing. Make happy those who are near and those who are far, far will come. Cyberspace has no season, no night and day. Internet time is absolute time for everybody. Internet time is not geopolitical, it is global, it is future. For many people, real time will be internet time. Being listened to spells the difference between feeling accepted and feeling isolated. Creativity is a delicate power that praises tends to make it bloom, with discouragement often tips it in the bud. Any of it will put out our more and better ideas in our efforts are appreciated. Set up the listening, perhaps who will be talking to for you want them to hear. Get people to listen as a possibility rather than a problem. You lose with potential, you win with performance. Wisdom lies neither in fixity nor in change, but in the delicate between the two. Have faith and the way will open. Wherever you are, whatever your circumstances may be, whatever misfortune you may have suffered, the music of life has not gone. It is inside you. If you listen to it, you can play it. Change brings opportunity. What if you could be anything to anybody you choose to be? Think about it. What would you choose to be? It took me better than a quarter of a century to learn the hard way that hard work is something you want to be doing, is the most fun that you can have out of bed. To learn that the smart man finds ways to make everything he does the work. To learn the leisure time is truly pleasurable, indeed tolerable, only if to the extent that it is subconscious grazing for information with which to infuse newer, better work. Wow! When two people love each other, they don't look at each other. They look in the same direction. It is not what happens that determines the major part of the future. What happens to us all. It is what you do about what happens that counts. We need a variety of input and influence and voices. You cannot get all the answers to life and business from one person or from one source. One difference between man and beast is that in the jungle there is no group called predators for the ethical treatment of prey. Don't you think my narcissism is the most interesting thing there is? The highest reward for a person's toil is not what they get for it, but what they become by it. Politicians never accuse you of the greed for wanting other people's money, only for wanting to keep your own money. Originality does not consist in saying what no one has ever said before, but in saying exactly what you think yourself. When you get into the right tight place and everything goes against you, till it seems as though you would not hold on a moment longer. Never give up then, for what is just the place and time that the tide will turn. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think that nobody else has thought. Beauty is that which excites the soul. To love and win is the best thing. To love and lose is the next best. I think I'll work all my life. When you are having fun, why stop having fun? Everything I understand only because I love trouble. With the rat race is that even if you win, you are still a rat. Your company's most valuable asset is how it is known to its customers. Wow. When the earth is sick, the animals will begin to disappear. When that happens, the waters of rainbow will come to save them. The waters of rainbow will come to save them. When it comes time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of the death. So when the time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. You must protect the forests of our children, the grandchildren, and the children yet to be born. We must protect the forests for those who can't speak for themselves, such as the birds, animals, fish, and the trees. Things turn out best for the people who make the best out of the way the things turn out. I am dying with the help of too many physicians. The loveliest of faces are to be seen by moonlight when one sees half with the eye and half with the fancy. The memories of tomorrow depend on the attitude today. Set up the listening. Prepare who you are talking to for what you want them to hear. Good people to listen as a possibility rather than a problem. All of the significant battles are waged within the self. Life is not a stress rehearsal. If I'm only one, but still I'm one. I cannot do everything, but I still can do something. I will not refuse to do something I can do. We learn to be patient, observe, like a owl. We learn cleverness from the crow and the courage from the jay, who will attack an owl 10 times its size to drive it off its territory, but above all of them rank the Kikadi because of the indomitable spirit. The phrase working mother is redundant. If today I had a young mind to direct to start on the journey of the life, and I was faced with the duty of the choosing between the natural way of the forefathers and that of the present way of civilization, I would for his will unhesitatingly set that child's feet in the path of the forefathers. I would rest them into an Indian, to be an Indian, have faith and the way will open. I love the land of finding waters more than all the rest of the world. A man who would not love his father's grave is worse than a wild animal. The difference between fiction and reality fiction has to make sense. I love criticism just so long as it is unqualified praise. I have seen that in the greatest undertaking it's not enough for a man to depend upon himself. Women are adaptable to what a man presents to her. If he presents affection and she presents affection, if he presents anger, then that is what she gives back. And if he presents stupidity, then she adapts to the fact that she has to be thinking for both of them. I think over again, my small adventures, my fears, those small ones that seem so big are the vital things I had to get and reach. And Jade, there is only one great thing, the only thing to live to see the great day, that dawn, and the light that fills the world. All truth goes through 3 steps. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Finally, it is accepted as self-evident. If we listen to our intellect, we will never have a love affair. If we would never have a friendship, we will never go into business because we'd be cynical. That's a nonsense. We have got to jump off that cliff all the time and build up our wings on the way down. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we get. The difficult is done at once. The impossible takes a little longer. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough. Wisdom lies neither in fixity nor in change, but in the dialect between the two. The speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Promises are like the full moon. If they are not kept at once, they diminish day by day. Pleasures are transient. Honors are immortal. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Literary quotes. Okay, great. If the radiance of the 1,000 suns were to burst at once in the sky, they would be like the splendor of the mighty one. I am become death, the shatterer of worlds. Through me you passed into the city of woe. Through me you passed into eternal pain. Through me among the people lost for age justice. The founder of my fabric moved. To me was the task of power divine. Supermest wisdom and the primal love. Before me things create one, none save things eternal and eternal. I shall endure. All hope abandon ye who enter here. Our eyes envy pride, 3 vital sparks have set into the hearts of all on fire. This life's dim windows of the soul disclose the heaven from the pole to pole and leads you to believe a lie when you see with not through the eye. The great creator to revere must sure become the creature, but still the preaching can't forbear even the grid and even the rigid feature, yet never with its profane to range be complacence extended, and at this laugh for poor exchange for that you offended me. If one kiss and then we sever, a farewell and then forever, deep in heart-wrung tears I'll place thee. Boring sighs and groans I'll wage thee. We should say that fortune grieves him, while the star of hope she leaves him. Me, nay, cheerful, twinkle like me, dark despair round the benighs me. For the angel of the dead spread his wings on the blast and breathed in the face of the foe as he passed, and the eyes of the sleepers waxed deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved and forever drew still. It is an old saying, the devil lurks behind the cross. All is not gold that glitters. From the till of the plough, Bomba was made king of the Spain, and from all the silks and the riches was Rodrigo cast to be there but his necks. 5 miles measuring with victory, mazy motion, through Delta sacred river ran. Then reached the captain's measureless man and sank the tunnel of the lifeless ocean, and missed the tunnel Kublak heard from far ancestral voices facing war. Water, water everywhere, all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, not any drop to drink. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and mortality. All human things are subject to decay, and vain fate summons more notes must obey. This fleck on fawn, who, like August was called to empire and had governed long in prose and verse, was owned without dispute through all the realms of nonsense absolute. If not, the people have a right supreme to make their kings, for the kings are made of them. All empire is no more than the power and trust, which when resumed we can be no longer just succession for the general good design. In its own wrong a nation cannot bind. April is a cruelest month breathing. Lilacs out of the dead land mixing, memory out of desire stirring, dull roots will spring rain, winter kept us warm covering. Earth is a forgetful snow feeding, a little life with dried tubers. This is the way the world ends, this is the way the world ends, this is the way the world ends, not with a bang but a whimper. Tell them, dear, that if we were made for seeing, then beauty is its own excuse for being. Why though were there, O rival of the rose, I never sought to ask, I never know, but in my simple ignorance suppose the self-same power that brought me there brought you. Far off forgot to me is near. Shadow and sunlight are the same. The vanished gods to me appear, and one to me are shame and fame. They reckon ill who leave me out. When me they fly, I am the wings, I am the doubter and the doubt, I am the hymn and the Brahmin sings. By the road bridge that arched the flood, the flag to April breeze unfurled. Here once embattled farmers stood, and fires is shot heard round the world. The woods are lovely dark indeed, but I have a promise to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I shall be telling things this with a sigh, somewhere the ages and ages hence. 2 roads traversed in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. The dancing pair that sweetly sought renown by holding out desire each other down. This when Mr. Less of the smuted face, while secret laughs the titters round the place, the bashful words inside long looks of love, the matron's glance that were those looks reprove, those were thy charms, sweet village, sports like these, that sweet succession taught even toil to please. These round the blind flowers, their cheerful influence shade, they were thy charms, but all these charms are flame. Yet, why should they know their fate, since sorrow never comes too late, and happiness too swiftly flies, thought would destroy their paradise no more, where ignorance is bliss, is folly to be wise. At last is Hector edged upon the plain, who feared no vengeance for Patroclus slain. Then, prince, you should have feared what now you feel. Achilles absent was Achilles still. Yet a short space the great heavens is hid, that now, that low in dust thy strength and glory lay. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty, that is all you know on earth and all you need to know. On the road of the Mandalay, where the flying fishes play and the dawn comes up like thunder outer the China across the bay, the shades of night were falling fast as though an alpine village passed, a youth who bore mild snow and eyes, a banner with a strange device. His brow was set, his eye beneath flashed like a falchion from its sheath, and like a silver clad rung, the accents of that unknown tongue. As I was going up the stair, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish he had stayed away. But wherefore, though alone wherefore with thee, came not at all hell broke loose, is pain to them. Less pain, less to be flayed and thought than they, less hardy to endure courageous seek. The first in flight from pain hadst thou aligned to thy deserted host this cause of flight. Thou surely hast not come sole fugitive. Here at last we shall be free, the Almighty hath not willed. Here for his and we will not drive us hence. Here we may reign secure, and in my choice to reign is worth ambitions or and fail. And though in hell, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. When the waves around me breaking, and I as I pace the deck alone, and my eye in vain is seeking some green leaf to rest upon, what would not I have to wander? Where my old companions dwell, absence makes in the heart grow fond. I love beauty, fare thee well. Accuse not nature, not hand on her part. Do thou but thine, be not diffident of wisdom. She deserts thee not, if thou dismiss not her, thou must needs her sigh. Her nigh by attributing over much to things less excellent as thou that art perceived. Beauty is but a flower which wrinkles with devour. Brightness falls upon the air, from the air. Queens have died young and fair. Does the hat close Helen's eye? I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. What passing bells are these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hastily orisons. In verses fashions the name run rule will hold, alike fantastic if too near or old, but not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old aside. Hither the heroes and nymphs resort, the test of all the pleasures of a good in various talks, the instructive hours of that past. They passed who gave the ball or paid the visit last. One speaks the glory of the British Queen, and one describes the charming Indian screen. A third interprets motions, looks, and eyes, and every word a reputation dies. Folly the conquers, and I must yield against the stupidity, the very gods themselves contented when exalted reason, resplendent author of the head divine. Wise ponders of the system of the world, guide of the stars, who art thou then if thou wander to the tail of the folly and scuffed steed, mustantly shrieking with the drunken crowd, eyes open plunged down, heading the abyss. Age cannot wither her, nor custom stale. Her infinite variety others women cloy. The appetites they feed, but she makes hungry, where most she satisfies. Alas, poor Yorick! I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. Oh, thou hast damnable iteration, and the ardent hate able to correct the sin. Thou hast done much harm upon me, boy. God forgive thee, for before I knew thee all, I knew nothing, and now I am I. If a man should speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. He was my friend, faithful and just for me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms the general scoffer fill. But this in Caesar seemed ambitious. When the poor have cried, Caesar had wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. As flies to wanton boys, are we to the gods, they kill us for their sport. But then I sigh, and with a piece of scripture tell them that God bids us do good for evil, and thus I clothe my naked willingly. With odds old end stolen forth of holy red, and seem I of scent when most I play the devil. Angels and ministers of the grace defend us, be thou the spirit of the health or groveling damned. Bring with thee error from heaven or blaster from hell, be thy intents wicked and or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shame that I will speak to thee. To die, to sleep a chance to dream me. There is a rap, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come. When we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause There is a respect that makes calamity of so long life. A rough wind, thou mourn'st loud, grief too sad for song, wild wind, vain sullen cloud nails all the night long, sad storm whose tears are vain, bare woods whose branches are strained, deep caves and dreary main, well for the world's wrong. Him grunted Mr. Ratzier, saying the worst fears about to be realized. He had dreamt that he would tumble over the profile of the drawing room and squid the bottle of a water right in the lady's face, who's going besides of herself. Asked Bishop, wishing to know the worst at once. Better be killed than frightened to death, thought he. If thou should never see my face again, pray for my soul. More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreamt of. I hold it true, whatever before I feel it when I sorrow most, it is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Till last of the Phillips form I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let me step in the music which he hears, however measured or far away. Nothing but backless above, blackness above, and nothing but that moves, but the stars, but the cars. God, if you wish for our low flying us a handful of stars. Do not trust the horse Trojans, whatever it is. I fear that we see when God they bring gifts. Oh, you are born of the blood of the gods, Trojan sons of the archers. Easy in the descent of the hell, the door of the dark dies. A stand open day and night, but to retrace your steps and come out of the air above. That is work, that is labor. That is indisputable what the answer, but in this country, till it is good to kill an ordinal, admiral from time to time to encourage others. Yet each man kills the thing he loves, but each let his be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The cowards does it with a kiss, the brave with a sword. The world is too much with us, latent zone. Getting and spending, we live best in our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a solid boon. You shall go forth with me. You shall go with me, newly married bride, and gaze upon the merrier multitude, white-armed, neutral august as the birds, furrow of the hurtling form in him, who is the ruler of the western host, Venera, and the land of hearts. Desire of your beauty has no ebb, decay, no flood. But joy is wisdom, time, and endless song. You, the spirit of the settlement, not understand that America is the God's crucible, the God's melting pond, where all the restes of the Europe are melting and the reforming. Here you stand, good folk, think I, when I see them at Ellis Island, but you stand in your 50 groups with your 50 languages and histories and your 50 blood, hatred, and rivalries. But what is the difference between literature and journalism? Journalism is unreadable and literature is not read. That is all. In literature, as in love, we are astonished at what is chosen by others. The true meaning of the religion is thus not simply morality, but morality just by emotion. Deep interest in life as you see it, and people think in literature, music, the world is so rich, simply throbbing with rich treasures, beautiful souls, and interesting people. Forget yourself. Wow. Literature is the art of writing something that will be read twice. Journalism that will be read once. Literature is a luxury. Fiction is a necessity. Literature is strewn with the wreckage of the man who have minded beyond reason the opinions of others. The tendeness part of the mind, so to speak, is more developed in winter. The flesh and the summer, I would say winter has given the bone of the sinew to literature, summer the genius and the blood. The very essence of the literature is the war between the emotion and intellect, between life and death. When literature becomes too intellectual, when it begins to ignore the passions, emotion, it becomes sterile, silly, and actually without substance. We pass the word around, we ponder how the case is put by different people. We read the poetry, we meditate over the literature, we play with the music, we change our minds. We reach the understanding. Society evolves this way, not by shouting each other down, but by the unique capacity of unique individual human being to complement each other. My main reason for adopting literature as a profession was that as the author is never seen by his clients, he need not dress respectably. The affair